Boom, baby. We are live, and welcome to the first inaugural edition of the Tokyo Crypto Show. I am your host, Jonathan from Modern Life Dating. Today we have Charlie from CultivateCrypto.com. Charlie, let's say hello.
Hey, y'all.
So let's wait for the chat get populated here. Looks like one person's in the house. Let's see what's going on with the rest of everybody. Hello, you shall not pass. What's going on? I guess maybe my chat end is lagging. It says only one person is here. So we'll fire up the Instagram stream.
How much does YouTube say?
Just says one right now. Just one. So, what's going on? Winston Wolf is in the house, and you shall not pass. We are going to get this party started. Let's fire up the stream. Let's see. Tokyo Crypto Show. Boom, there we go. All right, two people here. We got Rob MS 1988 in the chat. What's going on, guys? Come on in. So, if you guys want to give us a call before we get started, the call-in number is right here. 657-383-1318. John Shore, what's going on? You shall not pass. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment of the Star Wars shirt. Headphones are great. Hey, Raphael, what's going on? People are starting to pour in right now. And, yeah, we have gotten a great show here for you guys set up today.
Can you all hear me all right?
Yeah, how's the audio sound for both of us? We're experimenting with this dildo-looking microphone in front of us.
Yeah, I don't know how sensitive it is.
Got a sensitive head. How's the audio, guys? Are we sounding good from where we're sitting? Audio is nice?
Good.
All right, Raphael. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Audio is good. Wasted John, what's going on? Yeah, I got 10 people. So, guys, from here on out, all right, every Wednesday morning, we are going to be talking about cryptocurrency, all right? CC, speak up a bit, but good. Okay, so you got to speak up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Maybe I'll lean in here a little bit.
Yeah. Yo, Lewis, what's going on? Lewis, I got to actually put you in touch with some guy. Just keep your mouth off that dick mic. Roger that, James Miller.
I think
Roger.
That sounds like a good idea.
Roger that. It's gonna be a hard one to do, but yeah, I think
maybe for you.
We'll be okay. We'll figure it out. Guys, give us a call 657-383-1318. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I don't know if you noticed, but with the money that you guys donated, I was able to get a new YouTube banner and a new Facebook banner. And a new, what else? YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I was able to get all three. And yeah, so we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency today. And, because one of the things I always talk about is that we have to be able to be, as men, right? We got to be making money. We got to be making muscle. And we got to be getting our game up. Learning how to screen potentially good women to come into our lives, keep the bad women out. And, that is what we're looking forward to here. John Shore likes my t-shirt. Thank you very much. I am a big Star Wars fan, as you guys know. And, yeah, so we got 13 people in the house. Let's see if we got any callers. No callers yet. Guys, call in if you got any questions before we get started.
I'm kind of curious with the people that we got in the chat right now. Like, is anybody familiar with cryptocurrency shit?
Yeah, is anybody there? Jonathan, you're a mad presentable today, no homo. Thank you. I put some gel in my hair. I'm feeling hot dude through the roof.
I think one of your viewers, Mo, he's pretty familiar with it, but I don't think he's in the chat yet.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No idea. So we got people with just no idea about cryptocurrency. All right. So we're gonna get things going. I watch a bit.
Figures.
Okay, watch a bit classy areas. Yeah, Black Pigeon Speaks is a great guy. Black Pigeon Speaks is a great guy. I got 4 figures in crypto, and got slammed lately. Well, the market's kind of taking a jump lately.
Well, it's only a couple $100. So I mean, compared to
It's-
normal price jumps, it's not that much.
Well, it was pretty big. I would say, it caught us all by surprise. I would say,
Yeah.
but yeah, I heard it was when it was under a little bit. Need portfolio ideas. Okay. So, anyways, guys, we're gonna talk about cryptocurrency, but as every other YouTube guy says out there, this is not financial advice. Okay. We got to cover our own asses here, so you don't come after us with some lawyers or whatever. But this is not financial advice. But what we're doing is we're exploring a new technology that is financially, financially based, and it really, I think, has a lot of potential to do a lot of good. Because as most people know, it's no secret that the banking industry is pretty fucking crooked, and the Federal Reserve is super fucking crooked as fuck. So. Ernest Little says I have some Ether and Litecoin via Coinbase. Yeah, we're gonna get into all of those things right now.
Yeah, it looks like we have like plenty of people who have their toes dipped into it a little bit.
Yeah, so we got some people who are little dabblers, and we got some people who are heavily into it. So yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. This is Charlie from CultivateCrypto.com. And Charlie and I are good friends. We've been friends for, Jesus Christ, how long have we been friends now?
2.5, 3 years now, I think.
When did I meet you?
I think it was 2016.
No, 2017.
Early.
May.
So yeah, about 2 years now.
So let's just jump right into that. So we met at that job. We both were working at that high-end, like Fortune 500 of Japan company. We're talking about sales and everything. Charlie's way better salesman than me in that industry. He's just had
Also was there longer.
Yeah, how long were you in that industry of recruiting?
About 5 years.
5 years. So he was in there for 5 years. I made my money when I started in July, and I made all that money in December. So I was 5 months in. And a big part of my success really was Charlie kind of hold my hand and really let me know, like, case by case, how to strategically walk the clients through the process and walk the candidates. But yeah, let's talk about how we met. So tell them how much you liked me when you first met me.
Well, I mean, you were a little bit more flamboyant than you are today. I think when we first met, what was it? It was like Hanami, which is the cherry blossom viewing.
Right.
When we first started interacting, and I think the first time I saw you, I was probably a little drunk or something too. But I just saw you with those fucking aviator glasses, and then I think you were wearing that coat where you had like the fur on the side.
I don't know if I had that coat.
I don't know if you had that.
I didn't have it
at
yet.
least that was in my memory. That's kind of how I remembered you, or my image of you at the beginning. But I guess the first word that popped into my head the first time I saw you was like, "Man, this guy's like super douche," which maybe is a little bit harsh.
Champion douchebag. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, after time, that image like totally flipped. But I think it's just, you got a unique style, and I guess kind of let everybody know I'm from Minnesota in the States and you're from Miami, Florida, so I like basically two opposite places in the world in terms of how people communicate, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that was kind of my image of Miami to begin with anyway. And so, party people, that kind of thing. And so when I first saw you, you're just very flamboyant, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm not going to get along with this guy. This guy looks like he's full of shit. This guy looks like he thinks he's hot shit, all that kind of thing. But then I think you started asking me a lot of questions about the job. You're just like, how do I do this? And you're actually like very inquisitive and actually, trying to learn a lot about it.
Yeah.
Which I think I was kind of surprised by, to be honest, because I think most people who go into recruitment, they're like, yeah, I'm coming into this, I'm a new kid on the block. I'm going to beat you all that kind of thing. It's very, it's not as crazy as, like you said before, Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing, but I think does have that kind of old school trader vibe to it, because it's like very competitive industry, right? So it's like,
for sure.
I'm going to beat your ass if you're not within my team.
Yeah.
If you're in like an opposite team, I'm going to make more sales than you. So it's very kind of macho, flamboyant in that way.
Yeah.
And so I think, you didn't look like a humble guy when I first met you. I guess it's probably the best way to sum this up.
That's a fair assessment. That is a fair assessment.
Which I think is still true, which is good. I mean, probably I came across as the opposite to you, I guess.
No, I just when I first met Charlie, we fucking went out. we had a good time drinking, and then we went out to some high-end luxury establishment and in Harajuku, and Charlie got so wasted he fucking threw up on the table.
yeah, I don't remember that part, but apparently everybody else did. Yeah.
Oh, you fucking! I remember that you were getting so wasted. He was just pounding drinks back, and then you're just like, fuck it.
We were drinking from like 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. or something,
Yeah.
because it was like a whole day of drinking, right? Hanami in Japan.
Yeah.
You like go put your tarp out under the cherry blossoms. It's pretty nice. We had the day off as a company, but we all went there together.
And it was a company trip, so the company sponsored all the alcohol, so it was flowing, and we were just getting a good time.
Yeah,
And
so that was by 8 p.m., so I think I stuck it out pretty good.
yeah. No, I think it was like 8 or 9, because we left around like 8.
Yeah.
And then we went to 2 rooms in Harajuku. I don't know if you guys know where 2 rooms is, but it's like on like I forget what floor. It's like 15, 16, 19 floors, something really crazy luxurious. We're there with the CEO of the company. The CEO was like, "Oh my god."
Okay, so to get, because you mentioned Fortune 500 company, right? So to get a perspective on the company, right? I think they've been around, since the mid 20th century. They have probably like 100 to 150 group companies.
Yeah.
Which we were one of.
Right.
And of our company, he was the CEO, but he reported at least 3 people up into the top of the kind of command chain, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't feel too bad after that.
No.
Thinking about it that way.
And also, you were coming off a pretty big quarter. You made how much money that quarter? Like
20 million Japanese yen, which is about 200,000 USD.
So his sales for the quarter were about 200,000 US dollars, give or take.
And
so I would have fucking probably thrown up on the table, then thrown the table off the balcony.
Yeah, you would have. But I guess to kind of give a perspective, because like compared to like tech sales, right? Like that's chump change.
Yeah.
But the average sale for us is probably about like 15,000 to 25,000 bucks.
Right.
So that's about 10 sales within a quarter, which is good, which is about 2 to 3 sales a month. And yeah, well, I guess we don't have to explain that industry in whole, but
that's basically how we met.
Yeah.
That's how we met. And then I had gotten into cryptocurrency in December of 2016. I had bought my first portion of a Bitcoin. I believe I bought 0.6 of a Bitcoin.
That's pretty good.
For about $800.
And you were using it for like gambling, or?
No, I just bought it initially just to buy it. And then I started doing some cryptocurrency gambling with MMA, and that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But when I was holding on to the crypto, because I started doing the gambling and whatever.
How much was Bitcoin at that time?
So
for 1 Bitcoin?
I started in May, and that's when it first. May 2017,
okay.
And that was like when it just broke 3,000.
Yeah.
About then, and then I have been paying attention to it throughout the summer, and I just saw like, holy shit, I think I'm on something. I think this cryptocurrency is something. And then it.
And were you thinking that because of the price hike? Like the price was kind of like jumping every month, or?
Well, I'm more of like a guy who's just all about freedom and independence, and so I just figured like this money is like not controlled by any government. You can't really inflate or deflate the price too much unless you have massive amounts of money.
Nobody individually can. It's basically programmed into it if it does or doesn't.
Right. Like there is no like immediate like okay like we can start doing some like what's it called when they start printing a lot of money? What's it called? It's like something quantitative easing or something.
You mean the Federal Reserve?
The Federal Reserve.
Well, I guess the best you just call it printing money. I mean, just keep it simple.
Yeah. I think it's called quantitative easing, like when they just print money and they can manipulate the choice, or the price rather of the money. Mo says, I think we started crypto about the same time, early 2017. I got it December 2016. So yeah, about that.
And how much of that did you lose?
I kept like 0.2 of it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I kept 0.2 of it.
Kept buying in throughout the year, right?
Then that's when we started going into it, and so that's what really cryptocurrency is like. What really strengthened our friendship, I would say.
Yeah, I think cryptocurrency, making money within the company.
Right.
Because we were just kind of both feeding off each other, right?
And we were like other than our local favorite Hawaiian, we were the only Americans in the company that we really wanted to.
Hawaiians with that, I guess, if you go with that.
Yeah,
there weren't that many Americans in the company. It's a pretty diverse company, which is what I love about working in Japan.
Yeah.
I think Americans are, usually about 10 to 15%, but then
It was like me, you, the Hawaiian guy, and like who else was American? Oh well,
the other Hawaiian person. Point.
oh yeah, her.
Yeah.
Old milk jugs.
Well, they got a lot of Japanese people who used to live in America.
Old milk jugs was that fucking from Hawaii. Her fucking underbite.
Yeah, sure.
Hope she never watches this.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? But
Man, yeah.
I guess to kind of backtrack that a little bit. So that's kind of how we met. And then for me in cryptocurrency, I think the first time, because when was the first time you actually heard about it?
Cryptocurrency?
Yeah, because I think that's usually the start for people, and it's like, when did they buy into it? It was usually a lot later, right?
I had heard about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in like 2013, and for a while I just kind of I was thinking about getting into it, but I was still like in my red pill Chad Prime phase, so I was just like fucking everything in sight. I was just like, cryptocurrency or fucking big tits in my face. All right, I choose tits, and then
I think it's an easy choice to begin with.
Yeah, especially when the price of Bitcoin at the time was like $100 a Bitcoin now.
Yeah.
But now that I've really looked into the technology, I really think that it's something that can be utilized in the future. Like actually, I bought my brand new computer that I'm using right now with Bitcoin, because there's a lot of shops in Japan that you can just pay using Bitcoin. In Japan, you can use Bitcoin. I saw a fucking strip club in Shinjuku that you can pay in Bitcoin.
Interesting.
So, God bless the Japanese, man.
Yeah, well, I think, Roger Ver, to be honest, right now, if anybody in here knows anything about like people in cryptocurrency, Roger Ver is kind of he went from Bitcoin Jesus to Bitcoin Judas in terms of the core Bitcoin community, how they responded to him.
Right.
But actually, he's one of the people who actually made it like extremely popular in Japan. He's like an evangelist. He used to go to shop to shop to shop.
Yep.
And be like, hey, use Bitcoin, use Bitcoin, use Bitcoin. So I think the fact that there's so many places in Japan that use cryptocurrency is partially because Japanese people love trading foreign currencies in the Forex market originally.
Yeah.
But then two, I mean, he did a lot of work.
Yeah.
Groundwork.
And one of the big telltale signs for me personally that I believe that cryptocurrency does have a viable future is that the Japanese people are very risk aversive. The Japanese people, if there's like a 5% chance of risk, they won't take it. They usually go with like a 9 times out of 10. Like getting people to change jobs.
Well, it depends.
And stuff.
Like you said last night, right? Or no, it was a couple nights ago. You were talking about finances. Like, who's controlling finances? Is it you or the woman?
Right.
Right. And I think there's, one of my ex-coworkers, he used to basically say, oh, this is how much I'm making, honey. And then had his own bank account that he siphoned things into, and then he did his own investments that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of women in Japan, especially like the traditional like housewives, they're like, oh, I want to do something during the day. And so I want to control the finances, which is, like you said, a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because they leverage that against you. But basically, a lot of Japanese people are risk adverse, I think, for that reason. But actually, in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency right now, you got Korea, America, used to be China was more active in it. But a lot of the salarymen, maybe a lot of them aren't getting married anymore, to be honest.
That's true.
Which might be part of it too. So traditionally, they're risk adverse, but they're one of the biggest, I think, growing markets in terms of people actually getting involved in Bitcoin. But part of that's due to, I think in 2017, it actually became legal in Japan.
Yeah.
So they have this shit regulated up.
And that's what I mean. Like, if the government, the Japanese government is super, like, I think, like, personally, I don't think, like, drugs will ever be legal in Japan. I think it would be...
mushrooms were illegal back in 1998.
Right, but they did make it illegal.
Yeah.
So
they're
I would
think
make
it unillegal.
I would think just like Singapore, it's just going to be like continuous strict regulation on drugs. But for a country, because Japan overall is very conservative, and for them to make some kind of acceptance of this, and they're very like 9 times out of 10 they are very risk averse of people. They don't take a risk to change their jobs. They don't take a lot of risk. Period. I think the fact that they approved it, especially with their meticulous, stringent nature, I think for me that's a huge green light. And then nations all over the world are starting to slowly but surely realize like what the future for cryptocurrency is. We got some questions here. Mo says, what do you think about the recent price jump of Litecoin?
I love it. I own a lot of those things.
How much did it jump? What did it go from?
Well, it did 10% in a day back in the early part of the week or end of last week, and then it went 30% since that time.
Oh, wow.
So it went from $33 to right now about 42, but it's probably went up to, I think, about 44.
Okay.
So in terms of USD, it's great, but also it's outpacing Bitcoin because usually people track it in terms of Litecoin to USD. But if you're really into cryptocurrency, you don't really want to track everything in USD. You'd probably want to track all the altcoins, which are alternative currencies, anything else than Bitcoin. You'd want to track compared to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So
So
even
let's
compared-
just tone it down. Let's tone it. Let's because we're getting a little technical.
Yeah.
All right. So first and foremost, let's just talk about this. Okay. What is cryptocurrency?
So I'll start by throwing that question a little bit back at you because I think by the time I get into it, it'll get a little bit.
Well, let's
Yeah.
just keep it simple. Let's just
Sure.
keep it simple. Okay. So if you could just tell me in one sentence, what is cryptocurrency?
So I'll give you 1.5 sentences.
Sure. Sure.
A use case, one, basically the best use case for it, if you can kind of imagine, will be that you'll basically have access to a Swiss bank account within your smartphone or computer. So I think Obama was the one who mentioned that during one of his IT security talks. He was like, everybody's going to have a fucking Swiss bank account, in their pockets, which he was actually saying is a bad thing, but which actually sums up how cryptocurrency can be used globally.
Yeah.
So that's the best way to describe how it is used.
So
The
yeah.
best way to describe the technical aspect behind it is that it's simply just a record of transactions.
Yeah. So just for you guys, I'll just put it in hot dude terminology. Okay. Cryptocurrency is a digital currency that is 9 times out of 10 it's used on some sort of a blockchain, and a blockchain is a permanent ledger, all right, that is showing the exact transaction, but it is anonymous. You can't trace any names or anything to it. You can trace where Bitcoin goes forever, but basically it's a digital currency that I can send to you and you can send to me, and really like nobody really is gonna know about it. Like they would have to do some serious digging to find the money you sent to me or the money I sent to you. And I personally think that it's just good overall because the government wants to put their hands in everybody's fucking pockets.
Yeah.
And not only that, I think investing in cryptocurrency now, because every year the internet gets bigger and bigger and bigger. People are making purchases with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency still has its, it has its archaic things. It's a little difficult in some ways, but
In a lot of ways.
in a lot of ways, really, yeah. And it's like really, it's basically a digital currency that you can send internationally with like very small fees, almost instantaneously, and it can't be regulated or controlled by the government. Like if you, just as long as you have your wallet, and a wallet is basically a digital device that you keep your cryptocurrency on. Nobody can have access to it, only you.
Yeah, and you can take it off and put it on like a cold storage, which is basically a device that's not connected to the internet, so nobody could steal it, right?
Right.
And you can also write it down on paper or access it through that. So you can have a paper wallet or even what they call like a mind wallet if you basically have, what do you call it? Your wallet create a chain of 12 words.
Yep.
You can just memorize those words and actually keep it in your mind.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
Right. So they're guys. Okay, so guys who are watching on YouTube, watching on Instagram. My computer like does this crazy overheating thing when I run OBS. So if you want, just come on over to YouTube and you can see us as we continue the show here. Go to youtube.com, search Modern Life Dating, and then click on Tokyo Crypto Show, and you can go on over here. But yeah, come on over. Just the internet connect. The phone is near the computer, which is overheating.
Yeah. That's big. Your
I
phone's overheating too.
Yeah, I know it's because it's on the thing.
Yeah. I think you're. No, it doesn't have to look pretty.
Don't worry, I got it. All right. So yeah, guys, just come on over to Tokyo Crypto Show.
Yeah, I think. There's a couple questions in here which are good. One, which is from John Shore. I think we'll probably get to this one a little bit later. Bitcoin now has futures. I think, there's a lot of theories on how that would affect Bitcoin. Some people say there's a fancy word called rehypothecation, which is basically you will relend something more than once, which means the person who's getting relent doesn't actually own it. So therefore, you're inflating the price, and there'd be more Bitcoin than actually can be created in theory. And that's kind of a Wall Street way to manipulate price. So some people think that could potentially actually affect the price of Bitcoin, but some people say no, that actually doesn't affect the price. So I think that's debatable, but that's something that's a little bit more complicated that we'd probably get into a little bit later. But then thoughts on Ledger, mid and Nano Ledger or bust. I don't know exactly what you mean, Wasted John, but yeah, Ledger, Nano Ledger, and the Trezor are the two hardware wallets that I think are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Technically, everything is hackable, but yeah, it's going to be really difficult to do that.
Yeah, so here's so what a wallet is. It's a piece of technology that you keep your Bitcoin in. Okay,
now just a digital wallet. So I mean, you don't have to take too much of a stretch of imagination to.
So
that, right?
Just to keep it simple, let's keep it real simple for them. Like you can keep a wallet on your phone, you can keep a wallet on your iPad, you can keep a wallet on your PC or your laptop, and that is where
you can keep it on paper too.
Well, I don't recommend a paper wallet,
actually, it's very useful.
But you can definitely keep the cryptocurrency in there. I personally don't recommend keeping your cryptocurrency on an exchange because it's so hard to I had one Bitcoin Cash and then Bitflyer. I don't approve of Bitflyer at all. Bitflyer, the Japanese company, fuck that company. They actually they still keep my one Bitcoin Cash in limbo, and my one Bitcoin Cash actually won during a bet, went up to $1,500, and now Bitcoin Cash is like what?
120 something like that.
So I lost $1,400 because I didn't.
90%, yeah.
I lost $1,400 because I didn't keep that fucking cryptocurrency on my own personal device. You know, I kept it on an exchange, which is a third party. Basically, it's like a bank, but they have way more power over your money, which is cryptocurrency.
Yeah, they might not actually have the same amount of crypto that they're holding for people.
Yes, that's true too.
So it's like a normal bank. If you go to a normal bank, they'll say, yeah, put your money in here and then you can come take it out anytime. But obviously during the stock market crash of 1929, everybody goes to the bank and says, oh, I want my money out. Well, actually, we relent that out 5 times over, so we only have enough money for the first 10 people that came or whatever. It's the same in cryptocurrency on the exchange. There's a lot of them that say, oh, we have so much of this Bitcoin here, but if everybody tried to get their Bitcoin at the same time, the good exchanges would actually have them, and they're coming out with decentralized exchanges where you actually hold the private keys or control them, and the exchange doesn't. Mm-hmm. And that would theoretically be impossible for them to do that. But currently, yeah, exchanges only trust a few of them, and that's with stuff that you're actively trading. Otherwise, keep it off of the internet if possible.
Yeah, so those are some keywords there, right? Talking about centralized and decentralized. Yeah. So what that means, right? So centralized means that there's some group of humans that can control what happens with your money. So like if you keep your Bitcoin on, let's say, Coinbase, right? Coinbase can at any time just decide, hey, we have decided that you have a security risk or whatever to your account, and boom, lock your account, and then just keep all your cryptocurrency, and then you're fucked.
Well, there's ways that you can, if you did KYC, which is called Know Your Customer. Basically, if you put your information about yourself, like your name, your bank, maybe some credit card information or whatever ties your identity to that, they have a privacy policy which would then be enforceable by the government. So they would have to pay people out eventually. They get a lawsuit or something like that.
And then, but that would be like a stretch of fucking just headaches and time.
I think it'd probably be something that a lot of people would probably do in like a class action suit or something. So I think it'd be reasonably.
But like you're talking like months compared to like if you just have it on your own wallet, you have it instantaneously.
You can't access it instantaneously. It'd be a criminal offense that you'd have to go to court for.
Yeah, and then who knows? Like I lost my one Bitcoin Cash because Bitflyer. Fuck you, Bitflyer, if you're watching. Fuck you. All right, because Bitflyer decided to lock my account. My Bitcoin Cash was $1,500 US. It's locked. It's still locked in the account. Bitflyer's English customer support is garbage.
Yeah, that's true.
And they still have my one Bitcoin Cash like locked in Bitcoin limbo, And now, even if I were to get it back, it's only worth $100 and something. So I've lost $1,400 essentially.
Yeah. Wow.
Due to me not keeping the coins on my own wallet in my own
Possession.
Private possession. We have a good question here from Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson says, should I use and link multiple wallets and sync them, or just one wallet? I just say, I have 3 wallets,
Yeah.
but they're on 3 different devices. I have my Bread wallet, which is on my cell phone. I personally fucking love the Bread wallet, and that's actually just, I ran into the CEO, of Bread wallet the other night in a Roppongi church, because I wasn't at a bar, I wasn't at a club. This is a Christian channel.
Yeah, it looked like a church.
We were praying together. We were praying to the crypto gods.
Good gods to pray to.
So I ran into the president and CEO of Bread Wallet. I personally think Bread Wallet is fucking amazing. I use an Electrum wallet on my
super good
old MacBook. That's a pretty good one, actually. And then I have Bitcoin Core Wallet, which I hate. I'm just trying to get some Bitcoin off of there because
I think is that an older one?
Yeah, the Bitcoin Core Wallet fucking sucks in my opinion.
I don't think I ever used that one.
No, it's garbage.
But yeah, there's a million of them that you can use. But to answer the question, would you have multiple wallets? It's fine to have as many wallets as you want. You can probably have. I would actually do that because then if you have one on an exchange, that exchange gets hacked, you lose maybe 10% of your money. But then you have your your hardware wallet is probably the best way to keep most of your coins, because that's off of the internet, and so it's virtually impossible for anybody to access that. So keep most of it there, and then maybe distribute it over a few different other types of online wallets or hot wallets on your desktop. But I would not sync them all together, because once you sync them all together, if you did something like that, if there's some application you use to do that, if one of them has any info of your identity, then once somebody has that info, they can link all the wallets together, and they know exactly how much money you're holding in each of those wallets, and that all those wallets belong to you. So I actually, for all of the exchanges that I have money on, except for Bitflyer, I don't do any KYC. I don't add my name. I don't add anything that would identify me. The only thing that you have to use is your email address, but you could make a new email address for each wallet that you use on an exchange, as long as you remember those passwords. The government these days wants to, the IRS and those types of people, they want to find out, okay, whose wallets are linked to who, and they pay private cybersecurity people, especially if you have a large amount in an account, one account, they can see it on the blockchain. They, is this one person or multiple people?
Yeah.
And then they actually pay a cybersecurity guy to go and figure out who you are. And that sometimes is because of criminal transactions that they've made, but that's also sometimes just because they want to tax you. So I would try to make your information as difficult as possible for them to find. So I don't do KYC as much as possible, but for Bitflyer I do, because that's an on-ramp from a Japanese bank, so that's easy to put in.
You actually have to do it. David Doc says, crypto is unplugging. There are 2 rule sets. Old rule set, blue pill, fiat banks, new rule set, red pill, crypto.
What does that even mean?
Just like the old way versus the new way.
Well, I think Bitcoin's always been red pill.
No, yeah. He's saying the blue pill is like fiat and banks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't get it.
Crypto, Omar says, crypto is very volatile, can lose 30% in one day, and since it's not backed by state nor gold, it doesn't have intrinsic value. It's very hard to not see it as a Ponzi pyramid scheme.
Yeah, I think that's the most common argument for it. I think
I'll put it very simple, okay? I'll just put it very simple. This is how I just look at it in common sense, okay? What is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is internet money. Is internet usage going up every year or going down? It is abso-fucking-lutely going up, all right? Internet usage is getting more and more and more prevalent, okay? In addition to that, people are becoming more and more sovereign. People are wanting more and more freedom. People want the government's telling them not to do this. Don't fucking tell me to do this. Don't fucking tell me to do that. People just wanting that more and more. People want increasing freedom. So cryptocurrency, I think personally that right now we're in a bear market, right? So there's 2 types of markets. There's a bear market That's when all of the market is down and the prices are low and everything's shitty. And then there's a bull market, and that's what we saw in 2017 with like Bitcoin mania. People like Wasted John buying in at 12,000. You know, that's just like when everybody had like fucking psycho. I bought in on some shit that I lost a bunch of money on. Like I made a lot of money, but I didn't pull the plug. I didn't cash out. That was my biggest mistake. I made $10,000 in like 24 hours, but I was like, I just want more, and I fucking ended up losing.
Greed is the reason why people get interested in it.
Yeah.
And it's part of the reason why people stay in it. But it's the same with the stock market and things like that too. But I think you're right. Like it's the internet. The digital native currency of the internet. So the internet's not going anywhere. It's only getting bigger
and stronger.
And it took 20-25 years for the internet to get to the point where it is, right? So
and I believe we're still in our infantile stage of the internet.
Yeah, and Bitcoin's even it's still a fetus, in a way.
Primordial ooze.
Primordial ooze, not walking yet. But basically, if you look at monetary history, I think most people never get taught finance.
Yeah.
Never get taught anything about financial history. Where does money come from? Why is money even valuable?
Yeah. Not even how to manage their money. Like people are pretty money idiots.
Yeah. You either learn it from your family or you learn it on your own the hard way.
Yeah, and that's even considering learning it. Some people just don't learn it; they just fumble themselves through.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, cryptocurrency can be like for example, Omar. People just think like, what's Bitcoin? Isn't that like you buy hookers and drugs with it?
Well, you can.
You can.
Which is not bad,
but you can buy hookers and drugs with fucking cash too.
Yeah, cash is actually easier to do so on that without being tracked. But the best thing that I would say to that is basically fiat or cash is actually used to be backed by gold. So it used to actually have some value. It said it's an IOU for the gold that's supposedly in the vault of the American bank or whichever country you're running. But now
Nixon did away with that, right?
Yeah, he took it off in the 70s, and so ever since then, inflation's been fucking crazy. So the dollar is only as valuable as the government says it is.
Not even the government, the fucking Federal Reserve, which isn't even it wasn't even a government agency.
Yeah, it was a group of banks that made it. One of them being J.P. Morgan, which was one of the biggest.
And who's the head of it now? Janet Yellen.
I don't even keep track of that, but who knows?
If you watch some of these Senate hearings about the fucking the Federal Reserve, there was a guy that held up a sign in the background and said buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And he had his Bitcoin address on there.
Oh, he got tons.
He got like $12,000 I think overnight. That's fucking
nice.
great.
But gold is actually valuable because it's been the store of value, the thing that people hold their wealth in for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and that's because it's shiny.
Right.
People like it. And that's when people were back in the Stone Age. Oh, this is shiny. This looks valuable. I'll trade this because it's looks better and it's heavier than a shell. I can change it into a coin, whatnot.
Right.
So it actually does have a lot of use. But the thing with gold is that it's heavy. You can't transfer it anywhere on the internet. People term Bitcoin as digital gold. So it is backed by a lot of things, which is, cryptography, the algorithm that supports it, the work, the energy, the actual computing output that needs to be done to make Bitcoin. So if you actually, take some time to learn about what it actually does, I think Wasted John mentioned, he thought the same thing. And then once he started learning about it, he actually, figured out why it's valuable. But if you go back to all currency or any asset is only as valuable as people will pay for it.
Right.
So as long as people want to transact with Bitcoin, it will become more and more valuable, as long as the internet wants to continue growing. So that's kind of a no-brainer, like you said.
Yeah, and then there are tons of guys who are heavily involved in tech sites, even the Pirate Bay. If you visit the Pirate Bay, which is a torrenting site, they use your CPU when you're visiting their site to mine. Yeah. I believe it's Monero.
Yeah, some of them ask you, can I mine using your computing power? But that's also kind of a phishing attack. Some computers will basically get you to click on a link and not tell you they're using your computing power to mine. But if your computer starts making noise, your fan starts going around like that, and you didn't intend to mine cryptocurrency, that's when probably you're on a bad site.
Yeah.
So those types of attacks do exist. So the one thing that people get kind of unsettled with cryptocurrency is, one, the history. They don't understand finances. They don't understand financial history.
Yeah.
But also, two, it takes the power away from the bank and gives it to you.
Yeah.
So if you're actually your own bank holding all of your own money, Well, back in the the Wild West, which is kind of the period we're in terms of cryptocurrency, I could come up to you with a gun and say, "Hey, give me your gold, give me your money," and go away on my horse.
Tell me your fucking private keys, motherfucker. I'm gonna blow your brains
which
out.
Has happened to people and will continue to happen to people if they don't take the correct steps to actually protect themselves. So, if you're gonna get involved with it, you can't just be like, "Hey, I don't know anything about my own money. I don't know how to control my own finances." No, this is kind of a impetus or starting point for a lot of people to actually become their own bank, have their own sovereignty, get away from the traditional system. At least 1% of their wealth is probably what I would recommend. If you want to do 100%, then maybe you're really into it. But I think most people don't actually want to be responsible, which is part of the reason why it's a little bit slow for it to gain traction in the modern, or not modern society, but in terms of the general population.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to understand how many people are actually using Bitcoin, but it's probably only somewhere between 20 to 50 million people around the world who are actually using this to transact or holding it in a wallet.
That's fucking like nothing.
That's like probably somewhere between 0.3 to 1% of the population.
Yeah,
not
even 1%.
No, not even. Probably, I would say about 0.5% would be most likely. And that's still a little bit high. So its adoption is very, like we said, it's primordial ooze.
Yeah. So we got two questions here from Ivan and Omar, and he says, "Is it more profitable to mine or buy crypto?"
Buy. So
I would say at this point you have to join. I don't know too much about mining, but what I do know is mining. Let's just talk about mining in general. So what is mining? Mining is using a computer or a computer-like system to generate cryptocurrency. So basically, you help process all the transactions on the blockchain, right? Your computer is plugged into this giant network that is automatically processing all these transactions. And as you are looking at the processing these transactions, when it's done, you're able to get rewarded for it, and they give you a reward in regards to their cryptocurrency. So you can get more details there. We just put the link to Charlie's website, cultivatecrypto.com. You can sign up for his email list there. Just leave a comment.
Yeah, so the reason why I put that up when you're talking about that is if you go there, I just made the website, so it's very, very basic. But if you go into the blog, I just put on a blog today, which, because we were talking about this subject, I think a lot of people would have a ton of questions. So I put my first blog on there, which just says, okay, how do you get involved with crypto? What is it? And I try to, I think the things that you said, in layman's terms are very good and very easy to understand it. And then I take that one step a little bit lower so you actually understand how it's working.
Right.
But not into the details to where it's like, oh, this is super fucking boring. But it covers it, just enough so that, okay, within, 15 minutes, I can understand, or anybody could understand what this stuff is. And if you want more information after that, you can just, use Google. It's probably the best tool out there. But I think if you go there, you look at that. I'll be also sending out some emails. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making basically an ebook on the website. But I'll be doing, if you sign up for the emails, just put your email in there, and then you'll get, I don't know if I'll do it daily or, every other day or something yet, but I'm going to be writing sections of articles from beginning, somebody who knows nothing about cryptocurrency to, somebody who's just bought cryptocurrency and wants to use it a little bit, and then down to somebody who actually wants to figure out how to make money with this stuff. Because I think, like you mentioned, I got into the six figures, and so, I've made money with it, which is great. And then also probably, in that book, I'll be mentioning more of, my strategies throughout the bear and bull market, which is, when the price was going up and now when the price is going down. I think one example was, since last summer, just with my Ethereum, I went from 10 to 50 Ethereum, kept most of my value in that, but also grew that. So when the price does go up, it won't have to go back up to its high point price. It'll just have to go up a little bit to start making a really good profit on that. So those types of things I'll be talking about on that website. Sorry to get off sidetracked.
No, and Charlie knows his shit, and I would not have him on the show if he didn't. He has made 6 figures in profit on all of his cryptocurrency holdings, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I'm not going to go into it what he holds, but
I hold a lot.
he holds a good amount of shit. That being said, I just want to clarify what I said about mining. I kind of got sidetracked,
Yeah,
but
sorry about that.
basically mining, what it is you're using a computer to help process the network of whichever cryptocurrency you're using. So if you mine for Bitcoin, right? Mining means you're processing the transactions on the network, and as you help process these transactions by using your computer's power, you get a reward of cryptocurrency for free. So how Bitcoin works is it's called a blockchain because the data is saved in these things called blocks, right? And it's basically it's a ledger, and a ledger is who's the money going from and who's the money going to. Okay, yep. From and to, and it just keeps a data log of all this information on a block.
Yeah, kind of like an Excel spreadsheet.
And it keeps all the data on this block, right? And then it's coded in alphanumeric code, so it's very, very difficult, almost impossible to like hack and shit, like to decode. Yeah. And then you wouldn't be able to trace who it is too. You would have to do. You could theoretically trace it, but it's very, very, very difficult. Each block on the Bitcoin blockchain is how many? 2 gigabytes or 1?
It's megabytes, but I forget exactly how much it is, to be
honest. So once each block is filled up, the reward for helping process the transactions on that block is at this moment, it's 12 Bitcoin, right?
Oh, the amount that it pays out, I think.
Yeah,
probably something like 12.5.
No, I think it's just 12.
Is it 12?
It's 12. It's 12, and then after 2020 in the summertime, that reward is going to be permanently decreased to 6.
Yeah.
And then, as you guys know, supply and demand, if supply goes down, demand is going to go up. So I personally think that in the future, I think right now, that's why I started this show, because keep in mind, during the Bitcoin bull run, every asshole in the manosphere was writing some fucking blog, some fucking shit about how he's a Bitcoin expert, and he knows this and he knows that. And look at those dudes now. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're back to just spouting their normal bullshit. But I decided that we're going to start the Tokyo Crypto Show, and we're going to start it now, okay, in the time of a bear market where actually everything's pretty bad right now.
Yeah, I think most people who used to be like tweeting about this stuff every day, a lot of them haven't tweeted or posted anything since August or October.
A lot of them sold their scam courses and disappeared off the fucking internet.
Yeah, some of them are getting indicted by the federal government right now, the ones who are the real scam artists. But yeah, that's another subject to go into later. But I think
David Doc says 12.5.
That's what I thought.
Okay, 12.5 per block.
But to go off your point, so mining is the first way to get it. So actually, there's only 4 ways. If you look at the big picture, there's only really 4 ways that you'll ever be able to gain or get cryptocurrency. The first one is mining, and like you said, the computing power to confirm the transactions is what it uses.
Yeah.
And so now the amount of power that it takes to actually get the reward of the Bitcoin is so competitive that it takes like an industrial scale operation. You need a whole warehouse of these miners to actually make any money. And I think Mo mentioned the electricity bill will go through the roof. So that's right. So you actually need to get a lot of them in order to make more than what your electricity bill is worth. So for most individual computers, it's not able to do that anymore. It used to be able to mine on your laptop. So mining is good if you want to learn about what's under the hood, kind of like a mechanic would about a car. And you can do that. I mentioned it in my blog with the Monero stack. So Monero, the way it's coded, is still able to be mined off a normal laptop. You probably won't make much money with it, but you can actually get it, and you can really learn about it really well that way. So I'll probably write something else about that later, because I did that with one of the Monero forked coins, and that really helped me to learn. I didn't know anything about coding, but I can figure out how to do commands on my computer. I can figure out a little bit about coding, and then also how this stuff actually works, at a technical level. But for most people, that's really not that useful. The second way that you can actually get cryptocurrency is to buy it. And the best way probably now is just to buy and hold it. They say hodl in the Bitcoin community, which is just, a misspelling of hold. but people latched onto it. So that's probably best. But if you do that, you're going to want to hold it for, maybe 5 to 10 years. So whatever money you put in there
Yeah.
is something that you either will lose or that you don't want to touch at least for 10 years or 5 years. So
That's the kind of mental that's the kind of distinguishment you need to make right there.
yeah, and I think when we first went into it, I did put a significant amount of money into it at the beginning in order to make, a significant amount of money. And the reason, why I did that is because I can make that money back the next year.
Right.
It's like, okay, I can make it back. I'm not really out anything, but, the risk to reward the reward's a lot higher. And so that's why I got into it. But then the third way, which is actually the most popular right now, is simply buying, selling, and trading. So right now, if you look at a lot of crypto people who actually know what they're talking about, they'll say the biggest use case for cryptocurrency right now is speculation. So where is the price going to go? So most of the things that you'll see on the internet, and probably most of the hate as well as the love that you'll see from people on the internet, is because people are trading it. And so when you're trading it, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. So if you're winning, you're going to be enjoying this. If you're a person who didn't take the time to actually understand cryptocurrency and you just went into it, you're probably going to lose your money. So that's I would say buy and hold it for a person who just wants to be in it for the long term. But for somebody who actually wants to make money on it, within the short to mid range, probably not short term, probably within like 1 to 3 years, right? Then start learning how to do the basics of that. And that's what I'll be, kind of teaching a little bit through my blog and through my own channel once I get that built up. But because I've been successful with that relative compared to a lot of people I know, I think it's something crazy. Like, only 5 to 10% of people actually, figure out how to make money trading. So it's probably best that you don't do it right away. And then the last way to get cryptocurrency is by earning it, which you could do if you asked your employer to pay you in Bitcoin. If you are a merchant on the internet or in real life that set up a POS system or a
Point of sale system.
Yeah, or a merchant account on online on your own website, which actually I do have as well. And that way you can actually make cryptocurrency by providing value, which is the same as the way as you get cash, right? But those two ways, right now the technology and the spread is not big enough to basically help you to earn cryptocurrency very well. So there are some ways you can earn it through group mining things and stuff like that too. But those are basically the 4 ways that you can get crypto. And the way I would recommend to begin with is just buy it, hold it, figure it out, and then then begin starting to trade it a little bit. And maybe in the future, maybe 5 years later, ask your employer to start paying you in Bitcoin. But the price will not stabilize until the majority of the population or a bigger part of the population uses it. So that could be 20, 30 years from now. So if you're going to be in it, it's to make money within the next 2 to 10 years. So you're going to want to either hold it or figure out how to trade it.
And it is a long-term investment, and it has a lot of use cases. If you have money that you are want to like kind of experimentally invest with, even Mark Cuban said, like invest like maybe 10% into it of your income, 10% into something that's like, kind of like a wild investment, right?
Or even 1%. I mean, you don't have to go crazy.
No, you don't.
The best thing about the market is that it's theoretically, at least for the most part, not correlated to the traditional markets. So it is a very different asset. So the only way I can see Bitcoin and other assets being correlated is by the psychology of the world. Maybe that sounds a little bit, I don't know, kind of hocus pocus, kind of magical kind of thing, but it's more, I think Omar mentioned, how do you read speculation compared to traditional markets? Well, all markets are driven by human emotions. So fear and greed, those are, two of the biggest emotions that you can read into. And those actually do show up on charts. So you can actually use, principles. The one that I use is Elliott Wave, which some people don't find useful because it doesn't work for them. But the other ways are, cyclical patterns, also just normal, chart signals. So actually, if you're going to get into trading, or if you're actually going to try to figure that out, usually what I recommend is probably following like 5 to 10 people who, are speculating on it for 6 months, just 5 minutes a day, follow the information that they put out, and then find out, okay, which person actually works for you and which style works, maybe if you traded based on that information, which one actually worked, and that style might work better for you. So I think in traditional markets as well as the Bitcoin markets, if you want to become a trader and learn how to do that, you have to find your style, and it's going to be different for each person. But yeah, to answer your question, Elliott wave and cycles are how I go about figuring out how people are thinking about it. So right now, people are kind of confused. People, like you mentioned, and I think somebody else mentioned, the price recently jumped a little bit. For Bitcoin people, a couple $100 is like nothing.
Yeah.
In terms of the price jump. But for a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's going to go into a bull market again. So you got, the perma bulls, the people who always think it's going to be going up. Those people right now are going, you got to get in it now, but they've been saying that for, the last 9 months, right?
Right.
And then you got the people who are the bulls who are against it, and they're just, well, not against it. Some of them are actually against it, some of them are not. But they're just, right now the trend is down. So that's,
And we've been in a bear market since the end of December, right?
Yeah.
The end of December 2017.
Exactly.
That's when it ended. For the rest of 2018, it fell, and it's been falling to now. It's kind of stabilized around 3,500.
Yeah, and it stabilized around 6,000 for a good 3 months at the end, or mid to end of last year too. So
Right.
The stabilization is good, but it's bad for traders because the volatility is where you can make money. So right now, everybody who's trading is like, oh, this is boring as hell. It's just nothing's happening. So if it's going up or down, you can make money both ways as long as you're sticking with the trend and you're actually trying to understand the trend. But if you're, just sitting on your Bitcoin, then you're just kind of at the mercy of the market. So for me, I guess I think Omar also asked, like, how did I know about the 2017 bull run? So my dad he's 71 years old now, and believe it or not, he's actually into crypto. So I think he's within like 0.0001% of the population.
Yeah.
Like, almost nobody in the boomer generation is into Bitcoin. And he tells all his friends, he's like, I can only talk about it to you, Charlie, because nobody else, around me uses Bitcoin. But anyways, he's been in it since 2013. He bought at the top of that when it was $1,000. And then he was like, the price plummeted down to about $200 that the next year, and he didn't do anything with it. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna sit on this then. It went up, and then as soon as it started going up, he was like, he sent an email to our whole family, I think in February 2017. He's like, buy some Ethereum now, because Ethereum was one of the ones that was probably the biggest price hike during that year.
That time, how was one? It was like one Ethereum was
$30.
$30. Oh wow.
Yeah, and so
And it peaked out at 400.
No, it peaked out around like 1,200.
Ethereum did.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus
So
Christ.
I went home that year around May, and I didn't get his email. So I got there, and at the beginning of the 2 weeks I was there, he was like, "Yeah, you gotta get on this Ethereum thing." I was like, "Well, I've been looking at Bitcoin since 2013, since it's been in the news, and I really thought it was interesting, but I didn't start making a lot of money until I was a recruiter, so I didn't really have much until that time, right? So I didn't even think about it, putting any money into it. But then in the summer, basically in May of 2017, he was like, you should get in it. And I first was like, yeah, I thought it was cool, but who knows? And then at the end of the 2 weeks, the price had jumped from, I think it was somewhere around like $70 to $90. I was like, get me some of this shit. So I put some money into it. I just put $1,000 to start. And that was, I figured, okay, this is just a gamble. I'll just try some. And I put in $1,000, and within 2 months it went up to about 350, almost $400. And I was like, that's when I met you. And then you were the one in the office kind of going around and saying, Bitcoin, everybody buy Bitcoin. Everybody's like, this crazy motherfucker. Nobody was listening to you, but I was like, I have some Ethereum, And so we kind of started talking about that. And I started getting a little bit more into Bitcoin in that time. And then in, I think it was August of 2017.
Right.
If anybody knows the names of people within cryptocurrency, Roger Ver is the guy who started Bitcoin Cash, but who used to be like Bitcoin Jesus, kind of an evangelist for a while. And also Vitalik Buterin, who is the guy who made the coin called Ethereum. they're kind of, I don't know how you want to term them, but maybe like in a way like Steve Jobs and Bill
Like
Gates
Bitcoin
kind of
celebrities, basically.
people. Yeah, they're really smart fucking people.
Roger Ver is fucking rich as fuck. How much money he has? Like
I have no
$150
idea.
million.
Yeah, he has a lot of money, but
I
that's
met
from his own
Roger.
business too.
I like Roger. Charlie doesn't like Roger.
I like Roger. What are you talking about? If it weren't for Roger, I would not have been able to meet Vitalik Buterin, right?
That's true. I like Roger. Roger's like, so Roger's kind of like a free thinking kind of guy too. He gave up his citizenship to the United States because I think he just moved all his money. He became like a Saint Kitts.
Trophy dolphin.
You know, he
it.
gave me fucking Jacob hitting the BitConnect. BitConnect is a scam of cryptocurrency that came out. But we're gonna talk about that too. So, but yeah, basically, Roger's a good guy. I really like
He's
him.
a genius marketer.
He's a genius marketer. He's like true libertarian. He believes every person should have free liberty, free choice. You know, he believes in that.
The only
shit.
reason why people kind of have an antagonistic view towards him or really don't like him is simply because he tried a method to make Bitcoin Cash termed and marketed as Bitcoin. So a lot of people thought, well, you're confusing the hell out of the market. And there was one time in November of 2017 when the prices got a little bit close to each other, so which they called the flippening, which Bitcoin Cash would then become the Bitcoin or the blockchain of transactions that people will call Bitcoin.
That's when I made $6,000 on that transaction. That was a good time.
Yeah, and so those are good times. But so I mean, Roger's smart, but he just kind of like, in a Judas type move, marketed against Bitcoin, which he'd been marketing for them for a while. So I think that's why a lot of people do not like him in the Bitcoin community. But in terms of like him, like he made the Tokyo Bitcoin meetup, which is one of the longest Bitcoin meetups in the world. And that's when we started getting into it. You're like in the office talking about Bitcoin. You're like, hey, this guy, Vitalik Buterin, is giving a talk. Like, do you know him? I was like, yeah, dude, that's the guy who started Ethereum.
Yeah.
We should go. It was like 2 blocks away from our office. So we went there. There was only like maybe 150 people at a bar listening to Vitalik speak, and Roger was the doorman, right?
Yeah, and Roger was hanging out.
Yeah, he didn't have a huge ego. He's just a good guy.
Oh, he's a good guy. I like
Helping
Roger.
people out. So I think, people, vilify him too much. But anyways, that's probably a story that not a lot of people might be interested in at this point if you're not into cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
But I think the coolest part about that story is the fact that we met Vitalik, and I think you asked him a question, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I asked him just like, I just put him on the spot. They gave me the microphone. I was like, why should I buy Ethereum? And he was just like, you just do whatever you want.
No, he just looked at you like this. He's like, buy it if you want it. And that's literally what he said, just buy it if you want it. I think, a lot of people in the emails of Satoshi Nakamoto, who's the person who started Bitcoin, one of the things he said is, if you don't understand it, I don't have the time to explain it to you. Get some if you want some, or if you think it'll be useful in the future. So it's not something that originally was marketed very heavily. It's just like, here, this is something that's very useful. Either use it or don't. If you don't use it, we don't care.
So, and Bitcoin was made by an anonymous person. Nobody knows who Bitcoin was started by. He just had this anonymous pen name by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, which is like a just old school Japanese name. And somebody just started this Bitcoin network, and then in Bitcoin history, like the first thing ever bought with Bitcoin was somebody sent Bitcoin to a pizza shop to buy a pizza. So the first thing,
yeah, it's like couple $1 million pizza now if you were to actually go and compare the dollar amounts to how much Bitcoin they sent.
I think one Bitcoin back then was like 0.0001 penny or something like that.
Yeah, it was nerd money.
It was play money, but guys were playing with it.
Yeah, I think, well, it only takes 2 people for Bitcoin to have value, right? 2 people who want to transact with each other over the internet. As long as there's 2 people who want to use it, it will always have a value.
David Doxey, he says, you should tell Vitalik to do some reps in the gym. Vitalik's a weird guy. Well, Vitalik's a very fucking weird guy.
Take a look at my website on the About Us page. You'll see a picture of me and Vitalik shaking hands. And you took that picture.
Shaking him, like with the limp hand. When we talked about how to shake a hand like a man, Vitalik needs to watch that video.
Yeah. So he's a good guy, but he's an introverted nerd, and he's very smart. He's a genius. But he's not the most social guy in the world. So
Wasted John says, coins you are watching for in the next coming bull market aside from Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin.
BNB.
So yeah, I personally have a lot of Binance coin. Binance is is an exchange where you can buy multiple cryptocurrencies. Actually, we met the CEO
I have a
of,
good story about that too.
Binance. So the CEO of Binance was at these Tokyo crypto meetups, and the CEO of Binance comes up to me, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "I'm blah blah blah, the CEO of Binance." And I was a little drunk. I was like, "No, you're not, you fucking liar." And he's like, "No, really, I am. I'm the CEO of Binance." And like, use my card. And I just didn't believe him. And then the next day, I saw him on fucking Bloomberg. I was like, "Holy shit, that's the CEO of Binance."
Yeah, he's one of the. I guess he got on the cover of Forbes magazine in February 2008, and he's like, within 9 months of starting his exchange, his company, he became a billionaire basically. So kind of smart guy. But Roger introduced him to us through one of the meetups.
So Binance Coin is one of the things we're looking at. The coin code name is BNB. I have a decent amount of holding in that. I personally I believe in the scumbaggery of the banking industry, so I have some Ripple. I believe Ripple will go up in the future. I think the banking industry is gonna give it a good college try.
And also Western Union as well. They're trying to get into it.
Yeah.
So any company that's going to be destroyed by cryptocurrency will want to use Ripple.
So Ripple, and then also I personally believe, because it's backed by a huge company in Thailand, Omise Go, which is OMG. They're actually a real company, multi-billion-dollar company.
No, probably, who knows? I don't know.
And they're operating out of Thailand, but the head of their company is a Japanese guy, and knowing Japanese people, they're probably going to refine the technology and whatnot over into Thailand, and then eventually bring it over to Japan. But right now, everything is fucking down. Everything's fucking down.
And so the way to look at the bear market, or when the prices go down, is that Bitcoin, from its usual top to when it tops up and then goes back down, will usually retrace anywhere from 75% to maybe 94% at max, at least so far. Whereas, and usually around like 80-85%, which is how much it's retraced since 2017 to today. But the altcoins, the alternative coins, the other ones that you're talking about in your crypto folio, those ones will usually retrace from a high of about 90-95%. So those ones are extremely volatile because they have a lot less actual market cap or liquidity in them. So yeah, the prices fluctuate a lot more, and so they're a lot more risky. What I would say is, do not diversify your crypto folio too much.
Yeah.
What I would do is, get on, right at the moment. The best, because you can't say, do this or do that, because it all depends on where the market is at the moment that you get in. So I think Wasted John had mentioned his average price was maybe $12,000. My average price is around $5,000 that I got in terms of Bitcoin. And for Ethereum it was around 90. And so, where you get in will depend. If you get in now, the price is probably going to fall down a bit more. So now is a good time to accumulate, but I would probably mainly stick to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin at the moment. And then once the market starts going back up, that's when you start trying to get into these other coins. But
I would tell you right now, for me personally, the way I look at it is I do a deep dive. I do a deep dive on who's in the company, who's doing what, and then I check their social media. I check, is this person kind of an asshole? Because I bought into Verge, which is XVG, and then I started seeing the developers, and they started like doing missed countdowns, like they're supposed to release updates, and it was so sloppy, and I was just like, oh man, this fucking company is garbage. And then that's when it went really, really high, and then it fucking tanked, and then I didn't pull out. I could have been up $10,000 on that one, but I didn't, because that's when I learned, like, you really got to look into it. The developer was like he was like talking shit to people on Twitter and all these things. And Trophy Dolphin says, is pumping and dumping crypto illegal? They can't trace that.
Yeah, if they can't trace it, it's not illegal. So like you said with Verge, it is a privacy coin. So a lot of these privacy coins, which are similar to Monero or Dogecoin or these types of things, or Zcash or whatever, they can pump and dump and nobody can catch them. And yeah, if it's an ICO, which is actually like being sold like a security.
ICO is when you're launching a coin, and it's like a stock market IPO, which is an initial purchase offer. This one is an initial coin offer. This is when people pay money up front to invest into a cryptocurrency, and then they hope to get these coins, and then that the price goes up, right?
Yeah, so those are where most of the pump and dumps happen, because that's when they're entering the market. So you also have to look at how is, what's the, how is it built? How is the price, basically, is there any of the coin mined before it becomes public? If that's the case, it's probably a red flag. There's a lot of different red flags that you can see. Maybe, like you said, who's in it? Are they scumbags? Are they actually smart people? Have they been in the sphere before? So, yeah, altcoins are the most risky, especially in a bear market. You don't really want to be touching them too much.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what we're gonna do this week. We're gonna be back next week. We're gonna handle the other half of everything next week. We just wanted to give you an hour. If you guys have more questions, okay, you guys go to cultivatecrypto.com. That is Charlie's website. Charlie does this full time. All he does is trade crypto full time. He doesn't do anything else. So he is an expert on this. Go to cultivatecrypto.com right there, and Charlie he will be able to answer all your cryptocurrency needs. He's going to be putting out the blog post step by step to guide you. So even if you're a crypto beginner, you don't know anything, he's going to be able to help you 150%.
Yep, and then the other thing, and that's all for free as well. It's all free information, so just go and put your email in there, and you'll get that information sent to you as it comes out. And also, I'll probably be doing some videos. I do charts, and I do that for my own use, so I will produce some of that and send that out to people. But I think one last question we'll take is maybe like, does AI pose a threat to cryptocurrency or the crypto economy? I would probably say no. It'd actually probably help it. One thing you could probably see in the future is like robots or AI actually paying each other or paying automated bots within cryptocurrency. So actually it could create more value. But I would probably say quantum computing is the thing that I'd be more scared of. If somebody comes up with a quantum computer that can all of a sudden hack everything, there's a lot of arguments for why that you could basically update Bitcoin and all these other cryptocurrencies to be quantum resistant or make them work with a quantum computer. So, but that's like 10, 20, 40 years up, who knows. So that's at the moment there's not really much concern you would have with like AI or quantum computing for that. So
it's definitely some next level shit. Looks like we've got no callers on the phone, so we're gonna end that. And yeah, man, that's gonna do it for today. So guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check Charlie out. And just as you guys who are still watching, the body language program is coming out on February 28th. It is getting out 150%. It's coming out. It's going to include the full course, which we got putting the final touches on today. It's going to be 4 modules, 4 weekly webinars to answer all your questions. Every single question you have regarding body language is going to be answered, and a private men's only community for us to get together, network, and really push this thing forward. So thank you guys all for watching, and we will catch you next Wednesday on the Tokyo Crypto Show. I'll see you later. Have a great day. All right? Have a good night, good day, whatever it is. See you later. Bye-bye.